Hello and welcome to MotorCult episode 55. I'm Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sinitsky. Hello, sir.
Hey, that's me. Hello there.
Happy Wednesday to you.
Wednesday, or if you're on Twitch, now.
Yeah, if you're watching us live, then it's actually still Saturday, but Wednesday. Also, if you want our podcast, our second weekly podcast, way early, hop over to Twitch. You can see it live.
Good point, yeah. If you have nothing happening on a Saturday at 1:46.
Central Time.
Yeah, Central Time.
Soon to be daylight saving time, too, I think. That's soon. It's for farming, right? I don't know.
It's totally made up to me. It's just the government controlling what time it is.
Yeah, it is the government, but it was supposed to be for farmers, but the farmers
supposedly
supposedly for the farmers, but the farmers said that it didn't matter anyway.
Right.
Like,
Nobody wants it.
No, and a lot of the world doesn't use it.
No, only us.
Yeah.
We're the only country that uses it.
We're really stubborn when it comes to maintaining really dumb standards.
Hey, Donald Trump, if you want to cut something back another president did, can you do daylight saving?
Yeah, can you just veto daylight saving, please?
I heard it was a Democrat thing that so it should probably just go away, right?
Yeah.
It was actually
Wink,
Obama.
wink.
Can we switch to the imperial gallon?
Yeah.
Just to fuck with people. Anyway, beer. I'm drinking Tecate.
Gross.
Because it's the second podcast of the day and I don't care anymore.
You're going to come back to me.
Sounds good. Ryan is...
He is currently drinking Monster.
Yep. Now he's going over to my beer fridge. He is opening my beer fridge. He is examining my beer fridge. He is pondering on his beard next to my beer fridge. He's grabbing a Bauhaus, examining the can from Bauhaus.
Put your dick away.
He's grabbing a Dragon Stout, comparing the two. He has gone with the Bauhaus. He looks pleased with himself. He's coming back to the podcast table. He has set the Bauhaus can down. He's putting his headphones back on, cracking his neck, doing some stretches, jazzercising, and he has now cracked his beer wide open. Ryan.
Yes.
Tell me about that Bauhaus.
It's a Bauhaus, therefore it is delicious.
Excellent. This Tecate is quite nice. It's very poverty, but I'm just fine with that.
I told you about the customer I had at work that gave me 100 beers, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
That was one of our first episodes where we brought beer into it. You told us that story. I'm like, he stands by his word.
that is my favorite customer at work to date.
You should see if he'll do that again.
Yeah, actually, no, my favorite customer is this guy named Pavel. He's the only other person that understands my love of Russian cars.
He's the one that gave me this lovely Volkswagen
camper
van
that high-end camper van sticker. You should actually, but since we have extra time in this episode, you should tell me about your boss and that Type 2.
Oh.
Because I enjoyed that story, even though it was like a full day vent dump.
It really was. All right, so my boss, I love him the bits. He's the best boss I've ever had, but he's squirrel-brained. And so what we have this 69 Type 2, which is, it even though it looks just like a 68 and 70, it's a 1 year only mechanically. Has got like some 68 bits, some 70 bits, and a steering box that only works on 69. Anyway, so on, I think this was maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, it's like day after the car arrived. He goes and he just decides, I'm going to start working on this. So he pulls into the only open quote-unquote bay in the shop, which is the alignment rack.
Which is used for, if I'm not mistaken, aligning vehicles.
Aligning vehicles.
Okay, cool.
And
which you guys do once or twice.
Yeah, like a day. So he pulls into the alignment rack, and he goes and starts tinkering. He goes, I'll give you some paperwork in a little bit here. Hour goes by, and he tells one of the technicians to tell me that he's going to go and get some parts for it. It does not, and he'll be right back. Anyway, I having worked here for over a year, know what "I'll be right back" means. Which means
next week.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, which can easily turn to next week if he decides to go up north. Anyway, so he goes and gets a part and does not tell anybody what the part is. Goes to, I guess, Dune Buggy Supply, which is in Norwood, Young, America, which is
not close.
Conveniently in dead center geographically in the middle of Minnesota.
I have to drive through it to my drive all the way down to southwest Minnesota.
It is quite far away. Anyway, so he goes there, and I guess goes further squirrel brain, sees a skid loader, and our skid loader kind of sucks at work.
You have one?
Yeah, we do.
For why?
for pushing around dead Volkswagens and plowing.
Ah, so you don't use an ATV with a tire strapped on the front of it like almost all other shops.
No, we also have that as well.
Okay.
2 tires and a plow.
Nice.
Anyway, so ours kind of sucks because it doesn't have heat or radio or anything. But it's also
you're
kind
really
of
roughing it.
Yeah, well, it's also kind of nice because also when you're plowing, like it just makes you do it a little bit faster because you
Yeah.
just want to not be there.
Yes.
However, it's not the most reliable thing because it has a Ford Pinto engine and it is.
It's a gas skid loader?
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's weird.
That
It
is very strange.
very loud and screechy. And
Has that been swapped in or was that factory?
This factory is
Really?
It's an old New Holland from like 1975.
I
Yeah,
did not know they did gas skid loaders.
yeah, they do. That's the
Huh.
thing. It's a Ford Pinto engine.
Well, the 2.3 engine is
Whoa.
good, I guess.
So you don't want to rear end that at a funky angle.
Well, it doesn't have the Pinto gas tank.
No, it doesn't have the gas tank.
presumably.
Yeah, the gas tank's right behind. It's sandwiched between you and the engine. I think if you're getting to a point where the gas tank's going to ignite, you have larger issues because you're then getting to a car accident in a skid loader, which is not rated by the NHTSA.
I was going to say, speaking of larger issues, we were just looking up the previous owner of the Murcielago on Google.
Oh man.
She got thick.
Oh jeez. Yeah, I'm not sure if you've seen Janet Jameson, but God.
Like, as of last year, I think she's dropped all the way now, but like, she was pretty hefty.
She was
Pretty
she was
nasty.
Awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not good.
Not
she
good.
really let herself go.
Anyway, sorry, back to the story.
Anyway,
So,
no,
yeah.
it's okay. Anyway, I will say Asa Akira, she looks way better than Jen Jameson. They're about the same age.
Akira?
Asa Akira, she's another porn star.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay, I'm not going to Google it then.
No,
but-
I wouldn't Google
Okay.
it, but she looks way better than Jen Jameson. Of course, there are cows in the middle of Wisconsin, literal cows that look better than her.
Pampoovy.
Yeah, Pampovies. Well, Pampovies as well. But anyway, so
many
back
poopies.
on topic.
Yeah, well, we'll try.
So the 69 van, Bill, of course, he sees the skid loader. He's like really enamored with it, and then he like gets all giddy, goes home, forgets the parts, all the parts that he ordered, on the counter there. So drives back, sees not driven.
So he was buying the skid loader?
No, test driving it. So, yeah, that happened.
Yeah, squirrel brain, I think, fits him pretty
Yeah,
well.
no, he's. But I mean, so anyway, where are we at? So yeah, and then after that, we finally get the parts. He calls me up the day after this event happens. So
'Cause
the
he didn't come back to
the
work.
van's been here for 3 days. He goes
On
hey,
the alignment rack.
Yeah, he goes. Yeah, in his defense, he runs like 5 different businesses and has a family and everything. Like I totally get it. He works 20-hour days. So yeah,
Yes, but he also left a
he's-
vehicle
yeah.
on the alignment rack in a functioning shop.
yes, he did do that.
Taken apart.
Yeah, and no longer drivable. Also, the front suspension was "quote unquote" scary. So,
By the customer or by Bill?
by the boss, yeah, it was.
Okay.
You can jiggle that wheel a lot. That needs a steering
Wow, a
box.
steering box. Surprising.
Of course, 1 year only. It's to be like a week and a half to get the steering box out. And so anyway, I had my technician like piece the van back together so we can push it around. But yeah, so yeah, Bill calls me up and goes, "Hey, how's the van going?" I don't know. How is it going? You haven't told me anything.
This
He goes,
is your ticket.
yeah. I'm like, you took this ticket from me. You said you were going to handle it. He goes, "Oh, yeah, what needs this, and this?" I'm like, "Can you text that to me?" He goes, "Yeah, sure." Anyway, some crisis happens. He doesn't text me. And I'm like, "Hey, can I get that update?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, sure, yeah, this is what it needs." So I talked to the customer finally,
For the
for the first time thus far. I said, "Hey, you need this."
So
and this."
wait. It's been taken apart
Yeah,
and
but,
immobilized.
well, to be fair, to diagnose it, we had to. There's no way.
That's fine. But
Yeah.
like, did the customer like approve on the drop off?
Yeah, he did.
Okay,
yeah,
alright.
yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those things.
Just
When
picture you guys like shopping a car
no,
trying to
no,
diagnostic
no, no, we're not gonna do that. Okay. No, it's one of those things where like with these like old vans and stuff, I go into it. I always describe it to people and be like, "Hey, listen. Sometimes with these vans to diagnose it, we have to start tearing things apart
Yeah.
to do it correctly."
Most of the time, yes.
And so that's exactly what had to happen. We had to diagnose it correctly. We're not going to shotgun parts and give you, 30 hours of inspection time for us to say, "I don't know." Mm-hmm. We're going to, in all honesty, we got all of that figured out within an hour of inspection time.
Nice.
And we can
Okay.
still slap it all back together. I'm not, like, if the customer declined it, I put it back together and say, "Hey, this is where it's at. I really would not recommend driving it." I've had to have that conversation before. It's not a fun conversation, but I've had to do it.
Well, in Minnesota, you can't legally hold their car if it's unsafe, right? I don't think you can.
No, you can't. But there is a rule where if they refuse to sign a waiver to take the car.
Right, yeah. I know you have to sign the waiver.
Then you have to sign a waiver. But anyway, yeah. So
I've had to sign one of those.
Yeah, he of course approves the repair because he wants his car to like work. So yeah, I finally get the parts back, and it's just been like it's been this like I'm definitely making this faster than the whole story really is. But
Right.
it's just been one of those things where it's just everything that could have like been more of a ridiculous situation has happened. It gained this car running. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, luckily we got all that sorted out. But so anyway, the car was left on the alignment rack. I mostly disassembled. I got like 3 techs all needing to align cars at the same time, and then Bill had to like go run and like take care of a crisis at one of his rental properties he owns, where like I think like a toilet like exploded or something, something ridiculous like that. And then anyway, yeah, so we get all the parts, and then he shoots me a text, goes, "Yeah, we're going up north for MEA. We'll be back on Tuesday." I'm like,
thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that heads up.
I'm like, conveniently, thank God, this steering rack is like a week and a half out.
Steering box?
Yeah, the steering box. It's a week and a half out because they have to like rebuild one. They have to find one, rebuild it, and send it to us. So that's fair. But it's just been like the most ridiculous situation I've ever had to work in.
I mean, a Type 2 box, even if it's the unique one, your only one, I'm sure it's still available.
No.
Really?
It's not. It's literally 1 year.
So it had to be sent out and rebuilt.
It had to be sent out and rebuilt. So luckily we were able to do that. And I think it's actually that's something where, if you have a car and you're not 100% confident, taking it to a specialized repair shop like my shop, Good Karma.
Well, yeah, if I think of air-cooled, I do think of you guys, and further, and then to a lesser extent that Van Gogh place.
Yeah. Actually, Van Gogh, Jordan, he started at Good Karma. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, he started
very similar feeling shop.
And he does more Vanagon, so he does more water-cooled vans.
Oh, really? Okay.
Actually, we built a really cool one for a customer. So there's this company called Go Westy, which
I've actually heard of them. I don't know why.
They do like performance stuff for Vanagons, which is actually, it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, relatively speaking, you put like a set high compression pistons, you look like a god. So you really don't have to do much to make these vans better. But anyway, so I had another customer had a Vanagon, and we put in their the 2460cc engine that they make, which is their second.
It seems really big for an air-cooled 4.
It's massive because the big one from the factory is the 2.1 liter.
I didn't know they did anything that big. I thought like the.
It was a water cooled, now air cooled.
Okay.
No,
okay.
But it was the water cooled. It was still a water boxer though.
Wasserboxer.
Yeah.
I like that term.
Yeah,
water boxer.
Yeah,
Wasserboxer.
But the other engine that Go Westy makes is like a 2.7 liter, makes like 200 horsepower all motor.
4?
It's huge.
Jeez.
Anyway, I want to drive one of those because I drove this on the 2460, and I drove it because we were still doing the break-in period. I went less than half throttle and kept it below 4,000 RPM. And I feel like if I went full throttle, that van would spin tires all the way through first year.
So what you're telling me is it was faster than the red M3 with the bad ECU in it.
Yes. Significantly faster. Yeah.
Good.
Like that van actually, I think that'd be the first Vanagon ever to do a burnout. Like you could make it happen.
There's something strangely appealing about that. So I know almost nothing about the water-cooled Volkswagen Flat 4, but
I totally get why people do Subaru swaps.
Are those like Porsche's transitional time where they were using like water-cooled heads but still air-cooled jugs?
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. 100%. That's where Porsche got that from.
Okay.
It was not the best design.
So it has water-cooled heads.
It's really weird the way they did it. Yeah. It's a water-cooled head. Okay. But it's just so weird how their coolant galleys look because there's like there's a huge like gap. Like you pull the heads off like between where the jugs are and where the rest of the case is. There's just a huge gap where like there's just a massive oil sump there. Yeah. And it's like on an old it
still has a ton of oil in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, old air cooled Volkswagens Type 1s, Type 2s, like they held like 2 quarts of oil. Like they had nothing in them. But
really?
Yeah, they had the smallest oil sumps I've ever seen in a car in
my life.
And
they're cooled with that liquid.
Yeah.
they must have needed oil changes like every 1,500
Yeah,
miles.
they did because
Okay.
they also like up until like 1969 did not. They had a oil sump strainer, not an oil filter.
Oh my word! It's like a scooter.
Yeah, it was. They were questionable.
No wonder they needed to be rebuilt all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So
Why a
luckily,
jug and cylinder head's like $120 for one of those.
exactly. So yeah, no, the Vanagons are way better. But anyway, so this yeah, these air cooled or these water cooled ones are actually really kind of interesting. But yeah, for the Go West 2.7 liter, like they have their own like custom EFI system that they like run as opposed to the
Surprising
80s
that things are
questionable
fuel
EFI. Yeah, it's one of those cars where they're like, if you look at them on paper versus like what they're worth, nothing adds up correctly. Because like for like a good Vanagon camper, it's like a $20,000 vehicle, but it makes like 90 horsepower.
Right.
And
I assume they make a decent amount of torque, though.
120. It's about as much power as Jan's Accord makes with the factory engine. But no, but if you look at it on paper, like it's an old camper van that doesn't get good fuel economy. It's not terribly reliable, and it's very slow, and it's $24,000. It's just like
Those engines I know are really expensive, but they're also, much, much more reliable than the factory ones. So.
yeah. But I mean, like it's one of those things where I think like 100% of the value of Vanagons comes from the fact that people don't know that like Toyota and Nissan and Mitsubishi all made variants of that are not that are much more reliable. It's just really strange. But anyway, Vanagons I still think are kind of cool.
So I pulled up a picture of the water boxer, and yeah, that's very clearly largely based on the air cooled.
It's an air cooled.
Because it still has like the strap holding the valve cover on.
Yeah,
it's
push
still
rods.
This is a push rod, right?
Yep, the external push rods. Yep.
Yep, with the O-ring. I mean, those are probably pretty reliable engines. I'm actually gonna turn on the mics a little bit more
Yeah.
because I think the Murcielago is about to start up.
Yes, I'd be okay with that.
Well, we can keep talking. I'm sure it'll fire it up. But
Yeah, but
but yeah, I mean that whole okay. So I mean the water pump housing clearly looks like an add-on.
Yep.
Those cases, I mean that looks like it's got the same center case as an air cooled.
yeah,
Basically.
it is different, but it's very close.
Yeah, okay.
And they,
Same design though, right?
Yeah, and they have a lot of the cooling systems actually on the outside of the engine. It's really strange the way that they like ran coolant. to
Right,
it.
yeah, the water jackets. I mean, that's kind of how Porsche first started doing their water-cooled sixes. They
Yeah.
just started replacing the blocks, essentially, or the jugs with blocks.
Yeah, that's kind of what they did.
And it's just a
like
water
you still
jacket.
have the jug inside of it. It's really odd.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like that's not cool or anything. It is really cool, but it's like it's definitely of the era. It's very
Right.
It was very much so an afterthought. But that maxed out the speakers.
Yes, it did. Sounds pretty good. I can see it in the reflection of the paint on the 850.
So Jen Jameson can drive a manual.
Yeah, that used to be Jenna Jameson's car, so apparently she can drive a manual.
That is the thing. Anyway, we can turn the microphones down to a reasonable volume now.
So yeah, this is a 1.9 liter DG water boxer out of an 85.
Yeah, and then 1.9s and the 2.1s have different cooling systems. The 2.1s are
Sure.
more fleshed out.
That's still an interesting thing though. Like for the longest time, I didn't know that those were water cooled,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that they were based on like the air cooled engines.
Yeah, they're
basically,
really
so.
weird. But of course, nothing fits between them.
Of course
Being
not.
It's German. Why would they work together?
That's like we should make a TSI flat four.
God.
Can you imagine if Volkswagen made a flat four, like all the issues of a TSI, all the issues of a Subaru engine put
Yeah,
together?
they did. They called it a Vanagon. It's just everything happened to be a lot cheaper to purchase.
Oh man. So okay, so this van, you put it back into rollable condition. The guy picked it up. He's happy.
No, we still have it.
Oh,
Yeah, we still have that 69. It's
Well,
gonna
what the hell?
It's
Why?
gonna be because this is how vans go. They sit at our shop for like ever because finding anything for them is awful. And then we get these people that like want to daily drive them. That's something that I don't recommend because it's one of those things where I go like we've got like I've had like 3 people in the last like month and a half be like, yeah, I'm just this is my only car. So your whole life is based around the reliability of a van again, like that.
Yikes.
That's something I would not. That is a Russian roulette game I do not count on. Like it's a Russian roulette.
What's my daily driver?
That's a Russian roulette with a Derringer.
No, God, no.
Like,
that is not
a good decision. Don't like drive it. Like maybe if you put like $50,000, you like a Subaru like 2.2 closed deck swap, and you've recently done everything on it. You went over that entire van.
Yeah.
You might be able to daily drive it in the summer. But it's one of those things where it's like, and then we get these people like they'll buy a van again and just immediately go on a road trip.
Oh, yeah. You tell me about these people. Oh, the 2.5 liter ones, too, right? Always.
No, it's the 2.1s. Yeah.
I thought it was the 5-cylinder. No, I'm talking Eurovans.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Eurovans. Eurovans are just all 2.5 liter Eurovans are not reliable. They'll never work consistently.
Yeah.
But no, it's the they're not something I'd really recommend. Going on a road trip without extensive preparation, because I had another one of those like
And expensive.
a lady wanted to go out camping this weekend, and she brought her van in because she goes, my brake pedal feels a little funny. Well, you need a brake master cylinder. More importantly, let's talk about those like coolant geyser you have underneath your van, and then like that. And other people are from Boston. They needed head gaskets, and they were waiting, like, and they were here for a week. That week where it rained for 10 days.
Oh, yeah. You were telling me about the Boston people. That was like their
time.
first time ever in the Twin Cities, and they got rained on the entire time.
The entire time. It gets started the day
They're
they
never
arrived.
coming back.
Yeah, no, they're never coming back. Very nice people. But yeah, no, they had to do a radiator, all the coolant hoses, all the coolant metal hard lines.
At least they found you, though. That's good.
Yeah, thank God. But it's just like one of those things where it's like, if they didn't do it here, they would have to like hold out until they get to Washington to find a reasonable Vanagon shop.
Oh, my God. And that's the wrong direction if they're in Boston.
Well, yeah, because they were on a road trip, and it was like, that was a 1.9 liter, so it's even harder to find parts, and the 2.1 is just, that was quite a
They
ordeal.
sound like a bad decision.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you're going to get a Vanagon, do due diligence.
Pay the extra for one that's been... Somebody else took that beating.
Yeah, somebody else took the beating on it. And then whenever you own it, people say, like, how much do you expect me to put into a Vanagon every year? I'm like, I can't answer that. I will tell you, you're going to spend at least 4 digits. You have at least one 4-figure repair every year the entire time you own this vehicle, regardless of how much money you put into it. It's an old German car, and it's been driven hard and put away wet all the time.
Yeah, because, driving that thing normally is beating the absolute tits out of it, basically.
Yeah, you really are. And it's one of those things where it's like, like a BMW, 635 CSI or specifically something like that, like one of those like upscale kind of Grand Tourer cars, like,
personal luxury coupe.
Yeah, like those have been cared for a little bit better.
Yeah, most of them have been, and that's a big engine in a not that big car.
Yeah, and that's a car where, like, if I'm going to be taking a German car from the 1980s across the country, I'm going to choose like a 635 CSI. Or like a
560
I'd say
SEL.
a 560 SEL or SEC.
180 horsepower.
Yeah.
Very stressed. Not at all.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where those cars are, I would say the 6 Series because you have modern fuel injection on that.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I would take that. I would take that over the 560. If you have a fueling issue on 560, you're done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rural Montana. I'm sure there's a bunch of CIS technicians around
but
here.
Like, if you have like a problem with your 635 CSI, go find a guy that's parking on a Civic. You'll get an injector out of it. It has a Bosch 2-plug connector.
Yeah, as long as it's the 635s, the early ones were low impedance injectors,
Yeah,
which
low
are
impedance.
kind of hard to find.
But no, Jeeps all day long had them.
I guess
The Jeep,
as long as you know
the
what you're
4-liter
looking for,
Jeep,
it's
yeah,
fine.
you can find them. But if you have a 560 SEC and you know how to tune CIS and like you break down Montana, you're done. Like,
Yep, you're gonna have to tow it.
You're finishing your road trip in a W body. Like, it's not gonna be fun.
A W body with a tow dolly towing your Mercedes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
so
gross.
yeah, no, that's just the thing. Is I don't know. Vanagons, I think they're cool. I probably, if I found one for very cheap, I might get one.
Don't do
but
it.
that's the thing. It's like if I found one for very cheap and I found like the exact one I wanted. If I got like a slick top non-camper with the 91 era, the late 80s, early 90s body work on it, like that's one I would actually get.
I
But
got you. Well,
that-
I mean, to each their own. It's probably not something I would consider, but I
That-
do get the appeal behind
And
them.
you know what I do with that?
I'd
The
get-
second I find myself a Mitsubishi Delica or a
Oh my
Toyota
God.
van
I
wagon,
knew this was coming.
I would totally trade it. This immediately, the second I can.
Like a 5-speed, 12-valve VR Eurovan I could do.
I don't like the Eurovan because
I like the Eurovan.
the Eurovan you have to deal with you have to deal with all the mechanical garbage of a Vanagon.
I have a welder.
But then you have the 90s Volkswagen electrical problems, late 90s Volkswagen electrical problems of
I
like
have wire.
the B5 Passat.
All the biodegradable crap.
Yeah, all the biodegradable
And like the
crap.
way too thin of gauge wire that they use on everything.
Yep. And then you still have to deal with the overstressed engine.
A 2.8 VR would be okay in there.
It's a 4,000 pound vehicle.
Yeah,
You have to deal with the transmissions that go out all the time, automatic only.
I know, but like a 5-speed one would be cool.
Yeah, if you can put one together. I guess it's all cable, so you probably can.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
So,
Yeah.
but it's just one of those things where it would take so much effort to get a Eurovan. I mean, and at the end of the day, like,
It's still a Volkswagen. I don't
well,
want
no, I mean, at the end of the day, how different is a Eurovan from an Odyssey? You know,
Very.
it's still
It's very unique.
sti-
It's more similar to a Transit.
well. I mean, no, I mean it's still front wheel drive. It's still, it's still just a
True.
normal van at
Yeah,
that
but
point.
it's so much bigger and more utilitarian, though.
That's true. There is that, but I mean, I don't know, it's just one of those things where, yeah, at that point, I'd go with American conversion van if I was gonna get that because it's also
I would
so
go with
much
a
bigger.
Sprinter.
It's so much bigger at that point. It's just like go get a Sprinter or like
Sprinters are
like
better.
a G20 or like an Express because
They are reliable.
It's gonna be the same size. You're gonna have the
Yeah.
same effect. It's gonna be more reliable.
Mhm.
You know, where a Vanagon though, a Vanagon is different
I
because
would never do
a
a Vanagon.
Vanagon's so much smaller. It's more a Vanagon would be more equivalent to like my Mazda 5 in size.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not big vehicles.
No,
they're
and
just not aero at all.
Yeah, no, I think that the Vanagon. I mean, I get the appeal because like inside they have a ton of space, but
All right, let's move on to
Yeah.
an actual topic. Since I willingly got us into that one, but I'm starting off with Patreon this
that
week.
took up half of our episode.
Yes, it did. That's fine. As autonomous vehicles increasingly proliferate,
I've been
are you
drinking-
okay with your
I've-
beer there?
I have a drinking problem.
As autonomous vehicles
that's all in my
increasingly
pants.
proliferate, could you see the remaining human-driven cars having an increased manual take rate over the non-autonomous market?
Yes.
I think so too. I think once we get people that have no interest in driving out of driving cars, you're going to find a lot more people that are willing to not necessarily have their main commuter car be that way, because I think a lot of those people will end up in electric, non-self-driving commuter cars too. But I think their weekend vehicles, absolutely. I don't know if that's going to lend itself more to finding what they were after as a kid and buying that used, or if they're actually going to buy like a new manual vehicle. But I mean, I certainly don't see it getting the manual transmission demise. I don't see that getting like more rapid.
No, I think it will once autonomous vehicles become a thing. Manual transmissions will become more common. My issue though is I really like hot hatches and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and I feel like
we're enthusiasts. We all like those.
I feel like those are going to go away.
Why?
Be-
Why?
Well, my
Just
reason-
because it is like the most utilitarian manual transmission vehicle type.
I think that just automakers will say, well, you can just have an AV.
Well, I mean, okay, fine. You're
As
saying,
a-
you're
as
saying a
opposed-
gasoline-powered manual hot hatch?
Yeah, yeah. I think
Because
that, I
there's
just
going to
think-
be electric hot hatches, dude.
Yeah, but I make a manual transmission hot
Okay,
hatch.
yeah.
That's
Those
what I
I
mean.
agree. Those are,
Th-
probably
those are
gonna
gonna go away. It's gonna suck. That's my favorite kind of car in the world. I will take, like, my favorite hot hatch. I will take over my favorite supercar.
Nah, not me.
Renault 5 Turbo versus Countach. I would take the Renault 5 Turbo.
Yeah, I'll just take my 355. Thanks. It's good. It's
But-
thoroughly good.
No, well, that's also the thing is I don't care about actual fast. I care about ridiculousness and
No, I
drivability.
know. I mean,
Actually,
that's the whole-
I guess I would take that back, with the exception of the Countach. I would take the Renault 5 Turbo over anything else in the world.
It's I like having my practical utilitarian car, but it doesn't need to be a stick for me. It just needs to be either
Yeah.
a stick or no transmission.
But no, I like hot hatches just because of how they are. That it doesn't have to be just a sports car. I like the actual layout. Of
Me
them.
too, but hot hatches, I'm saying, are not going away.
Well, I mean, after AVs take place, I think that they'll stop being produced.
I don't think so.
I feel like a electric hatch that's
going to be a
happens
hot
to be
hatch.
hot.
Yeah.
That's
It's going to
different.
be way hotter.
It's gonna be different.
So hot.
It's gonna be totally different.
Fuego.
The Fiat 500 Abarth will go away.
Fuego.
The Fiat 500 Abarth
Yeah.
will go away as we know it,
Yes.
and we will see a Fiat 500 electric Abarth, which will be really cool. But it's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
be
fine with
different.
that.
It's gonna be
'cause
totally
It
different.
drives better than the Abarth, though.
Oh, I guess. But I still like the manual transmission.
Abarth can't gap an Evo.
No.
Gaptism. I think you're spot on with that. I mean, I think as we see the viable long-range EVs continue to come to market at lower and lower price ranges and start actually directly competing with the gasoline automatic versions, the cars that are currently making manuals proliferate more slowly. I think the EVs are going to completely consume the automatic gas market share.
Yes.
Which is
They
great.
absolutely will.
Which
Which
is
is
fine.
fine. Yeah, because I'll make automatic cars much better. I think. Well, I guess my logic here is if you look at the gasoline engine during the 1980s when
Yeah.
carburetors were going away.
Yes, except for Jeep.
Yeah. Well, what did carburetors end up on? They ended up on really utilitarian vehicles
Yep.
because it stopped being like the means of performance. And like even though people prefer driving a carbureted car, that it was just it didn't make sense to make because
Right.
you would get more performance out of the fuel injected one. And you get more performance out of the EV
And now
version.
nobody misses carburetors.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't miss them, but I do appreciate them.
I am stunned at how well they work.
Yeah,
It's incredible the engineering that's done to make carburetors work as well as they work.
yeah, it's true.
It's truly amazing.
But they no, it's gonna go that way. The carburetor started to get marginalized into being into the most utilitarian vehicle that you can possibly get. It went from being, on everything on the having individual carburetors being like the peak of performance,
Right.
to
ITBs.
then it ended up being at the end of the carburetor was on a Jeep,
Yeah, it was a
off-road
Wagoneer.
vehicle. Yeah, the Wagoneer.
Stopped in '94.
And then like the occasional like farm implement. Like,
And like forklifts.
yeah.
Things where it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we frankly just don't care about.
But it was mainly for emissions.
But
yeah.
it used to be that the carburetor was like that was the driver's car where you have your fuel injection on like your Super Beetles and stuff, but
that's mechanical injection kind of, and
That-
I can
again-
agree. Mechanical injection is
again
way
yeah,
worse
not,
than a car.
but again not
Way
a
worse.
carburetor though.
Right,
And the carburetor used to be if you wanted a performance car you would have twin side drive carburetors on your inline engine.
Or if you had your Lamborghini Urraca, you had 8 carburetors.
yeah, well
Or
yeah, your
4 dual
divide
barrels,
your you have one barrel per cylinder.
Tuning those things is an art.
Yes, it is.
It's incredible.
But no, then it eventually went to cars like the Prelude SI. You had the normal Prelude, which had twin side draft carburetors, single overhead cam to dual overhead cam fuel injected.
Yeah.
Dual overhead cam fuel injected blew the twin carb SI or the twin carb standard Prelude away.
And it worked in winter.
Yeah, stuff like that is what killed the carburetor. So
And
I
mean,
feel-
that's why the electric vehicles are going to kill
Yep,
the
and
automatic
exactly
gassers.
that. It's exactly
the
that.
same
It's,
thing, so.
when people start getting into a Fiat 500 electric,
Yeah.
and they are getting onto the highway, and it's a guy with Evo 9 that's like trying to push your shit in.
Yep.
That guy with the Fiat 500 electric being able to pull away from the Evo, that experience right there is what's going to kill
Yeah.
fuel injection or
And just
gasoline.
The segment that I see EVs really consuming are the commuter cars, the daily drivers. And I get it, because when you drive a car that doesn't make any noise, really, I mean, it kind of does when you're really on it, but like your stress levels are so much lower from being in a quiet thing that's not, doesn't take that much involvement.
My other thing is if I want to hoon around in my daily driver,
Yeah.
I want something that's quieter because I don't want to attract attention to myself.
That is the beauty of that car, except for like the tire noise from like burning rubber.
Yeah, like my
Like that, the cops don't look. You could be doing 50 and a 30. Allegedly, I would never do that. It's illegal. But like, you could be doing 50 and a 30, and they're never gonna look.
No, it's like the Mazda 5. Like it doesn't make any noise. It's not flashy, and yeah. And then I will.
That was the sound of a Mazda 5
yeah.
being hooned.
I will go 25 miles an hour faster than an M3, and the police officer will clock me, pull over the M3 because
Yep.
a Mazda 5 going faster than M3 will never fly in court.
As the person driving the M3, I can attest to this.
Exactly. So things like that happen.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's we amazingly kept on topic and answered that one perfectly.
However, what one thing I do want to say though, as far as EVs and everything go.
Yeah.
And, you know, I like technology and things being better. There's one car that's just out today. It's just really stupid. It's a Dodge Demon. It's just the dumbest car on earth. I love it. And you know the thing is,
that's why my car exists.
yeah, exactly, because that car.
They're doing EVs the right way.
Yeah.
Why'd you make that? Well, it's because we gotta sell these supercharged V8s.
We want to do a wheelie. That's why.
It's the last of the V8 interceptors.
It really is. But no, I saw one today on the way here, and
There's 2 or 3 down here.
as much as I want to be like a Japanese car, like hipster, be like, I only like Japanese cars. The Dodge Demon's so stupid. It can't handle a corner.
No.
Whenever I see one, I admit I get excited.
That car comes with, well, it doesn't come with, it's an option, but it's like a $100 option.
It's a $1 option.
A crate of other crap that includes another computer.
It's a $1 option.
Fine, $1. I love that. And there are probably people that don't order it, which is amazing.
Yeah,
But they
people like
ship you a Demon crate, which has another set of wheels and tires, track slicks, the skinnies in front and the big meats in the back, another computer so you can run it on ethanol.
Yes.
To make like 900 horsepower or whatever that crap it is.
Just
and
a
then,
ridiculous
yeah,
amount
like
of power,
it comes with like the seat delete kit, the passenger seat delete kit, bunch of other stuff. Like it's super cool. If you haven't seen this, just Google Demon crate. And there's like YouTube
Dodge
videos of
Demon
people
crate,
unboxing these things.
And-
it's incredible.
And that's why I love that car. It's just that car is
it is absurd.
it's so stupid and it's just perfect. And I feel like if you're gonna have a big dumb muscle car, get the biggest dumbest muscle car. If you have a Hellcat, you should be ashamed of yourself.
No. What you should really do want is you want a Hellcat wide body with the 6-speed because the Demon does not come in manual.
Demon does a wheelie.
So
I want a muscle car for the sole purpose of going down a straight line and great speed.
I do love when they were developing the Demon. Like, well, how is it reliable? Like, we literally had one that did quarter miles for a day straight.
Yeah, all it did.
We switched drivers, but we just launched it over and over and over and over and over again.
And it just kept
and nothing was wrong.
Yep.
They launched it like 1,300 times or something that day.
I think you put on like on that test car put like 100,000 miles
Of just launches.
of literally just quarter miles. So they had
Yeah.
400,000 quarter mile runs
That thing is
to make it reliable,
extremely
which is just
reliable.
insane.
Yeah.
So
the components are definitely able to handle a lot more power.
I fully appreciate that car. It's so stupid, and I feel like even people that like aren't into muscle cars, aren't into drag racing. Like they should, everybody should appreciate
The
that.
Demon is
fully.
cool. It is.
Also,
cool. I
if
wouldn't
you-
buy one, but it's cool.
If you have a Dodge Demon and you are not running those slicks or those skinnies up front all the time, what are you doing? Why?
Well, the factory wheel tire package is pretty thick all the way around.
It's massive all the way around. Why though? What are you gonna do with that?
Apparently, you have to be able to stop.
Or take a corner? Like, what are you gonna do? Take a corner with that?
I don't know.
It's not made for cornering.
I don't know. I
You get the widest tire in the world on that, and it's gonna still be garbage at a
think
corner.
they should have come with the skinnies and the slicks, and then the Demon crate should have given you street wheels and tires.
That would have been even better. If I had a Dodge Demon, I would.
So many of them crashed on test drives.
I know, right? I would exclusively ride with the skinnies up front, just not corner for anything at all ever. No,
right.
I just wanted to mention that.
Fine. I like dumb stuff. I do. I like the clever stuff on the other side of it too, though.
Yeah.
And speaking on clever stuff, NHTSA, NHTSA, the National, whatever, Highway Safety Transit Administration.
National Highways Traffic Administration.
I don't know. NHTSA, I think.
National Highway
Transit.
Traffic Safety Administration.
That sounds right. Anyway, they finally bring us out of the dark ages here. They just approved last week high-tech headlights,
laser headlights finally.
laser headlights. You know the stuff that Europe's had for 15 years
Oh, dude.
on production cars?
Tell me about NHTSA being thrown on our side. Can we talk about the nipples on headlights?
Sealed beams and the nipples.
No, this nipples on non-sealed beams
Yeah.
up until the mid-2000s.
I will let you talk about nipples on headlights.
Thank you. I want to talk about nipples right now.
Okay.
All right. If any of you don't know what I'm talking about, go walk out of your house right now. Find the one car that you can find that was not made after like 2004 or so. You'll find like something like a EG Honda Civic, and you'll find these weird little nipple things on the headlights. What those were alignment nipples that they would put on headlight alignment machines back in the 1950s that have been obsolete literally since the 50s. And even on steel beam cars, like back in the 70s where you couldn't use that machine anymore, they still required those nipples.
I did just pull up a photo on the
There you go,
stream. It's a
yeah.
little hard to see, but in the corners, there are these little raised glass nipples.
They're probably about like a half-inch long.
Maybe.
They're pretty
yeah.
decent sized nipples.
So it's cold out.
Yeah, it's cold out.
Oh, here's a side view.
Yeah,
Shows
there
you
you
the
go. So
nipple.
yeah, you can see those nipples. So that's for machines, so you can align the headlight. However, these machines haven't been used since like the 60s. So,
Which is it, 50s or 60s, Ryan?
I'm sorry, but no, they were. It was 1950s technology, but
Forgive me, my
used
friend.
Since then, but no, like in the 80s when the late 80s when the aerodynamic headlight finally became
Thank goodness, because they
thing.
finally allowed it.
yeah.
We were talking about the Euro 107 and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Yeah. When they finally allowed that, you still had to put those stupid nipples on them. Like all the
So
way.
dumb.
And I think they quietly repealed that law. Like they just like revised it and just got rid of it like in the 90s, but they didn't tell anybody. So like auto manufacturers weren't 100% certain
Yeah.
until like the 2000s that you didn't need to have the nipples on headlights.
Imagine like the murcielago with nipples on its headlights.
It'd be ridiculous. But actually, I think the Diablo might have those.
Yeah, the non 300ZX one for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
the VTs.
Yeah, the VTs, I'm pretty
Pop-ups.
sure had those.
Did I hear the door?
No, I think it's Jan just bumping the microphone.
Oh, that's all right. I just wanted to make sure.
But yeah, no, like those nipples are just so dumb. But yeah, they kept them forever. Like I'm surprised we got laser headlights this soon.
I made this topic. I don't even want to talk about it.
So I guess my other question is, so you get these fancy laser headlights now.
Yeah.
How come headlights still suck?
They don't. Have you driven a modern car with like LED headlights?
Well, I know, but I mean, like they aren't like they just make the area in front of it brighter. They don't extend down the road any further. I guess that's probably
They
an
do.
NHTSA
And
rule.
LED headlights now, they like selectively illuminate things, so they won't light up reflective signs and stuff like that, but they will light up road.
That's cool.
And like laser headlights do that big time.
Oh yeah, because you can
And
point it.
there's no light bleeding. I mean, like if you're in front of an LED headlight car, like an Audi or BMW,
Yeah.
you look back at the headlights, like you could stare at that thing in the middle of the night with no auto dimming mirror, and your eyes won't be strained at all.
Oh, it's gonna be so much better. I can't wait to put that in trucks so I don't have to deal with those douchebags in F-150s.
No,
that
it's
have-
because they keep buying the eBay ones, which aren't DOT certified.
If you have a F-150 or any other lifted truck and you have HIDs and standard halogen housings and your truck is lifted, jump
Go
out of
kill
your
yourself.
truck. Jump out of your truck right
Kill
now
yourself.
because you are the bane of everybody's existence.
Put projectors in it.
You are the worst person on earth. Yeah, put projectors in it.
Everyone
or
hates you.
just be a normal person and
You
put
have
in
a
a
small
normal
penis.
headlight. Put in a normal headlight
Yeah,
because it will work fine.
those are pretty well engineered at this
And
point.
You know what you can do? You can take that money, that like $100 you would spend on your stupid HIDs, and put it anywhere else. Lift the rear end of your truck or something. I don't know. It could make your truck so much cooler by putting $100 into something other than your stupid headlights.
Jam a golf tee in the wastegate vacuum line.
Sick. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
Is that
just-
a real thing?
I'm sure.
It has
Just
to
make
be.
the wastegate not open anymore.
Yeah, just have all the boosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Blow
go.
up your
Perfect.
power stroke. Have fun.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. Blow up your power stroke. Go buy a W bike. Blow that up. Now end up with a Chevy Venture. Perfect.
Never late in a 3.8. That's what W body people legitimately say.
No.
Yes. Yes,
Jana's
Jana.
mad about it.
Yeah, look at her face. Like, don't stab me. I didn't say it.
So I want to talk about something
'Kay.
different.
Okay, that's
than
good. Please.
that.
I don't want to talk about lifted trucks.
I want to
anymore.
bring it back to, some of these cars were like back in the '80s when they did the aerodynamic headlight.
Yeah.
Sometimes those aerodynamic headlights actually made cars look worse.
Oh yeah, I mean those were like Gen 1. Like, oh, let's get rid of this just because we have to, basically.
yeah. So I want to talk about cars that looked better before their facelift.
Oh, I've got some stuff here then.
Yeah, I'm gonna start out with the Z31 300ZX.
Okay.
That's my number one because that car is so just uncompromisingly boxy that you cannot attempt to make curves on it and smooth it out. You just have to commit the full boxiness.
Pretty much.
I'm sorry, that was
That's right.
entirely my phone. Oh, that's my phone again. 1 second here.
No, you're good.
All right, anyway. No, so the Z31 300ZX absolutely had a... it looked perfect when they first designed it because it was like designed at the peak of 80s boxiness.
Yeah.
I think later on when they did the aerodynamic upgrade, it just looked like a 240 in a fat suit.
Yeah, it did try to. Oh yeah. We talked about this a long time ago. You said they're like Cookie and Zenki, right?
Yeah, Kuki and Zenki. Zenki means first edition. Kuki means second edition.
That makes sense because I heard that on like S14s forever.
Yeah, and it just kind of can apply to anything. And yeah, the Zenki Z31 looks way better. When it comes to like the S13, the Kuki, the second generation S13, way better than the first.
Oh,
gen.
I agree. The second gen S13 is actually pretty good looking.
Pretty good looking, but the first gen is terrible.
First gen S14 I think looks pretty good.
But that's the thing is the Z31 post facelift looks like a pre-facelift S13 and just does not look good at all. Actually, I think I'll just go for an E-Sylvia. All the pre-facelifts. What's another one for you?
Well, the big one I want to talk about is the W212 E-Class, and nobody knows what that means. So it's like the 2012 to now E-Class. Maybe not now. It probably just got replaced.
Yeah, no, 2012 was...
I think I've got a couple photos here. Let me pull these up.
2012 was a very attractive year for cars.
It was.
Design.
I mean,
but
the thing I loved about that E-Class... The early ones had a really angular headlight design, which I thought
really
looked
like that.
Really, really nice. And the back end kind of had the same tasteful look to it. And the facelift was a really melty...
They tried to make it kind of look like a CLS or something.
Yeah, it's just like whatever they did didn't work, in my opinion. So I've got my photos loaded here. Let me bring up the stream. So this is a pre-facelift W212 E-Class. So it's dumb if I hover over that, it gets dark. Great. Thank you. Awesome.
This is what happens when you trust a rental car agency in Kuala Lumpur.
Pretty much limo land.
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
mint. But yeah, it's got a really, really angular fog light and headlight originally. I think that looks really good. That's a very classy looking car. And they facelifted it like almost immediately into this nasty piece of melty crap.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
I don't like that. So that's my big one, the W212 E-Class. The De Tomasa Pantera, the early cars versus the later like GT5s with all the fiberglass crap on them.
when they tried to make it into a
Countach and they failed miserably, and then also the Countach.
Actually, I like the post facelift.
I like the anniversary one, but every other one I prefer the early car.
I think the 70s ones are too plain. It doesn't seem fully realized on the 70s era Countaches. So yeah, for me it's definitely the later model Countaches I like.
I like I forget his name, but I like the 25th anniversary.
Yes, but actually there's one I want to talk about. People don't really realize this. Subaru EA82 generation, the L series, like all their cars.
Okay.
So this one's gonna require a photo.
Okay.
Can you look up a 1986 Subaru GL10 or Subaru Leon? All right. So if we can get now, go to images. Go to images.
Also, John likes your blanket.
Oh, thanks.
Now, if we can go to, let's go to 86 Leon Naziak top right. Yeah, let's look at that front end. So if we can actually get that picture up close, it's the grill that changes. It goes from this like cool kind of honeycomb sort of grill thing. Yeah, you can scroll down. I actually wrote an article about this car. This guy's got an amazing...
So the white car here?
Yeah, it's the white one.
Okay.
So it's got this like cool honeycomb you can't really see. If you... I'll put it on the MotorCult blog so you can get a better picture of it. Yeah, this guy ends up doing STI swap, and it makes like 500 horsepower, and a car weighs 2,000 pounds, and it's all-wheel drive. It's very cool. Now, if you can look up a 94 Loyale...
I'm going to wait for the encoding to catch up here real quick.
Sure. But if you look up the 94 Loyale, they put in this like aero grill and stuff, and it looks atrocious. It is just like all body colored out and everything, and it's one of those cars where it was too of the era to try to update, and when they updated it, it just ruined it.
So you said 94?
Yeah, 94. Yeah. So right there. Let's go to 90, 94, or that one too will work as well, whichever one you want, really. Yeah, that one right there. Click on that one. So, if you look at the grill, it is just...
God, this computer's not happy.
It's not happy at all.
Can I even make this bigger?
Here, right there, that wagon right there, third one down. That's a perfect example of it. Watch this be like the same image that's just like super small.
But I hate Windows so much.
God, that's so stupid.
Do I hate it more than Corey, though? There we go.
Yeah, so see that grill now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That doesn't fit the style of the car at all.
No, not at all. They tried to
They
make it.
sold that thing in '94.
Yeah, dude. It lasted from.
Looks like an '82.
It was designed in '85.
Uh,
85 to 94. I will say that that's probably one of the best looking Subarus, like that body style, because Subaru does best when they do utilitarian. If they try to make something fancy, it always fails. Like whenever they make something fancy, it looks like trash.
Oh, you mean like the
SVX.
Tribeca?
Yeah, the Tribeca looks terrible, but then like the Subaru RX looks great. Like, but anyway,
Wow.
so yeah, no, that car I think is one of the strongest examples of just like a revision gone wrong, and like all they did, they switched
The grill.
and the bumper, and it ruined the car.
Did the headlights have nipples?
They did the entire time. Yes.
Okay. That's what ruins it for me.
They also had a really cool sealed beam option too. It kind of made it look like a R31 Skyline. Actually,
What's the one with the opening grill?
the
light
XT?
thing? Okay.
But the thing is, the XT they never changed their body styling, so the XT
And it always
looked.
looked very dated.
It's one of those cars I want to love it a lot more than I can.
I'm not allowed. I just can't.
I really, because it's one of those cars where it's like that car looks really good if you do it right. If you get an XT6 and you lower it and you put on 80s aero wheels, which are super hard to find in a 5x100 lug pattern, like you can make them look much better. But they're still just so of the era. If you have no love for 80s cars, the XT6 will be the worst car on earth.
Yeah, and originally, like back in the '90s when I saw those, I'm like, that is the ugliest thing ever. And now I'm just like, that is quintessentially '80s.
Yeah, it's like the ride height was wrong. They got so much stuff
Like
wrong.
the wheels were way too small, and just like the proportions of the body. Like if you actually, I hate saying this, if you slammed it and put bigger wheels on it, it would look really good.
That's exactly what it is. I've seen some of those where people they not necessarily
dumb.
slammed it. They lowered it like
You could lower it like 8 inches and not have it slammed.
yeah
so.
no they lowered it 6 inches in the rear, 4 inches in the front,
Okay.
and it actually sat like it should, like a sports car. You get.
People like they look at me like I'm crazy. I took 4 inches out of the back of the Fiat.
But then I saw one had the those really wide spoked Audi 5-spoke wheels.
The Fat Fives off a TT.
No, they had the really wide face. It's kind of like almost like an aero disc. I think it came off like an A8 or something, like from the early 2000s.
I know the wheel you're talking. You're talking about
Yeah.
a D2 A8 wheel.
I think so.
But also the TT had those in 5x100.
Yes, I think so. But yeah, it was those wheels.
Or the 5x100 or 5x112
They're 5x100.
TT wheels.
Yeah, it's the TT wheel. So
The D1 D2
those-
A8 wheels are.
I saw one of
5x112.
those. They were not chromed. They were just matte gray, and they were on a lowered XT
Yeah.
or
That looks pretty
XT6
good.
rather, and it looked perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the way it should have come from the factory.
Yeah, those are 18-inch wheels, I think. So
No, it was a smaller
17s?
one.
Yeah,
It was. I think it was a 17 or something. It wasn't even a 17.
they're
It,
definitely.
it might
at
have been a
least
different
17s.
wheel then, because this was I think probably a 16 or something. But it was like along those same lines. I can't remember what wheel. It's
Well,
off of Audi or
any
something.
Mark IV based donor.
Yeah, but it looked really properly good. You need to have something. Things you can't put on like a wheel from the 90s or 2000s. It
No,
won't work at all.
yeah.
It's not. It's one
That's
of
like
those
people
cars
that put like modern 3 Series wheels on like an 80s BMW 5 Series or something.
It does
like,
not
no,
work.
You
No,
just don't do
you
that.
need to have something that's of the era. It's like on my Cressida. The reason my Cressida looks awful right now is I have those terrible ARE Estrella wheels.
Oh, you don't have the Mark III Super wheels on it
I
yet.
do have them, but I just haven't had time to
You don't have
powder
them on
coat
it
them and
yet.
everything. Yeah.
Tell me all about powder coating wheels. I have 2 sets that I have to split and take.
Ugh. Do you want to just do them all together and save the money?
No.
Let's just chrome plate
I don't want
them.
to do. The kicker is the Murcielago factory wheels are chrome plated.
Oh.
Yeah, powder coating those is tough.
That's
You can
gotta
do it. Luckily, they're in perfect condition, but it's just like, ugh. Thanks, Jenna.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to talk about wheels and tires actually,
Yeah.
since I'm cutting you off, even if you're not done.
No, I am done. I'll let you know if I think of something else.
Sounds good. I want to talk about in Minnesota. I just swapped out my daily to winter tires and wheels, but Okay.
C4 Corvette.
what about it?
That's another one. Pre-facelift. I prefer it.
And that's just wrong.
No, they all ugly.
Wrong.
They're all ugly. The only
Wrong.
reason people like late model ones is it reminds them of higher performance.
Nah, because it's ZR1, and well, I mean the ZR1 is pre and post, but
Anyway.
no, anyway. So in Minnesota, anyway, a lot of people run 2 sets of wheels and tires.
Yeah.
But there's ups and downs to that. The up is your tires effectively last twice as long. Downside, you spend a lot of money up front to get a second set of wheels and tires. You got to
Yes.
swap them. So what I'm getting at here is, how often do people actually care about how old their tires are? Because like my winter tires now are only a year and a half old, but like with how they're wearing, like if I'm the same weight of this car, they're going to be older than 4 years by the time the tread is down to the point where I'd want to replace them. And after 4 years, a tire gets significantly less effective.
I usually, with tires for age,
Yeah.
I'll go like 6. Maybe
think 6 is-
6 to 8. But
6 is pretty okay. I mean, 8 I would never do.
I've never, ever had a tire last that long, though. Because I drive too much on my cars.
See, I'm in a weird situation where I age out tires quite a bit because I
Yeah.
drive
Well, you've got-
mostly collector vehicles, which
Most
get like
not only,
2,500
and
or
not only
fewer
that,
miles.
most of your cars they all run at the same time. Whereas like
Yeah.
I've got I've got just time in my life because I've got I have to go to the Mall of America and stuff all the time, and I have to go and just like go to Target and go do all this other random stuff that I don't want to do.
If I only had one vehicle, the tires would never last long enough to age out.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, this thing is I always drive just everywhere. I go to out of the state all the time. It's just
So
I'm constantly
okay.
driving on my tires. So.
So yours is worst case 8 years, 6 is fine.
So I just want you to know, I wore out my Sumitomos on my van
Oh no.
since I've purchased the van in 2 years. And
Were they new when you got it?
no, I put them on.
Oh jeez.
I put 40,000 miles on it in that time frame.
That's several.
Yes, I wore them out, and they've lasted longer than Sumitomo said that they should. So
When people bring up the word or the sentence tread warranty to me, I'm like, what? Nobody's gonna warranty a tire on a car I own. Are you kidding me? If they did like data studies, you'd be like, no. In fact, you shouldn't even be insured.
yeah, exactly.
But because I mean, a lot of times when I buy a car, it has tires on it that are almost 10 years old or more than 10 years old. On the rare occasion, I'll find one that doesn't even have typical DOT date codes on it, which means pre-01.
Yeah, I've seen that
I'm
before.
just like, scary.
Yeah,
It's like-
we get a lot of those at work actually, and they're in camper
surprised.
vans.
That's
Which is
terrifying. I see them on
really-
like trailers, sure.
Camper
Suppose
vans.
it's basically the same thing.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, let's load the whole family in this ancient tippy Volkswagen and put it on 30-year-old tires.
Yeah,
What could go wrong?
and they're like, well, no, those tires are fine. They got plenty of tread. Yeah, they do have plenty of tread, but you
I
were
hate
one.
that retaliation.
Whatever, dude. Just go kill your family. I don't care. Like, don't sue me. I'm giving you. You're gonna have to sign this waiver.
But let's say, in a hypothetical world, you've got your Sumitomos on your Mazda 5.
Yeah.
They're at 30% tread, and they're at 7 years. Are you
I'd
going to replace them,
I'm
or are you going to
replace
wait
them.
until you drive them down to the wear bars?
I'll replace them at that point.
Okay.
If it's once it gets to that point where it's like really affecting my handling and my experience driving.
Well, let's say you're not really getting any detrimental handling or rain.
Oh, if I'm not getting any detrimental handling, I'll drive it until I hit wear bars or
Okay.
until I hit 7 years, 8 years.
And
I
then
don't go 10 because
if-
10's a federal maximum that you can go.
Yeah,
like-
you start running into issues if there's an issue caused by your tires at that
yeah.
point.
And I'm not going to do that, but it's usually around like 8 years is like the absolute longest I'll go.
Yeah, I usually see a lot of weather checking and dry rotting before they hit 8.
Yeah, it's the dry rots can kill you before you actually wear
That
them
worries
out.
me.
Yeah, so
I
that's
mean,
that's
modern tires are good, but tread separation's a real thing.
that's actually why I like Michelin. Michelin, their tires will separate before they get super old, and it's just like it's a safety thing.
Tell me all about Mr. Wags.
Yeah, I know, right? But no, I mean it's one of those things where it's like
Stupid tread
that way you don't have the tires getting super old. The tread looks fine if you see that tread separation, because the tread separation it doesn't go all the way through. It's a very
superficial.
It's really superficial, but it's designed to look that way. So
Yeah.
you go, oh my god, these look awful,
All right.
and then you replace them.
Right.
When
And
they're
it
really
works.
not that bad. Yeah, and that's exactly they're for
And their
people.
compound is
Yeah.
really good for the time that it's viable too. So I mean, I also really like Michelin tires.
Yeah, no, well, what I like about it is I like Michelin for normal people, because normal people will see that, freak out, and just have safe tires on their car.
Yeah, which is
And-
good, especially in a state like ours where we don't do safety inspection.
Yeah, that's
So you can drive around on slicks or belts.
I feel like I'm going to go back to this. I feel like there should be some level of safety inspection. Like, we should not have an emissions inspection in Minnesota, but we should really have a safety, like, you need to have X amount of tire left. You need to have so much. You need to not have so much rust. Like
I agree, I really do, because I see a lot of scary ass cars, but like the cost of implementing that statewide,
yeah, it'd be ridiculous.
immense.
I think it's just like maybe like once, every 10 years you have to replace your license plate, and when you do that, then you would have to do that.
Yeah.
Well, what I mean. Like when you have
But
to
I
replace
mean,
your driver's
it's like a
license,
taxi.
you should bring it in. Yeah.
That cost is, I mean, it's any approved like Midas or Meineke, and it's like a standard used vehicle inspection.
Just
Like
have to
I
sign
think that you should have to take that into the DMV once every 7 years for your plates to get new plates. I think that's smart, and I think that would cost almost nothing to implement.
No, and I think it's just one of those things where it's just gonna make the world safer. Because I mean, how much more unsafe can a car get in that time frame? Like realistically, that's like
a
not
bunch.
Without like actually causing the car to be undrivable.
I mean, imagine what would have happened to your brother if he wasn't driving an Element.
Yeah, like if your Element was in Jana's in Ron,
like the Ron condition where it's all Bondo, like.
You'd be surprised how well they fare, but like just modern crash standards, I mean, it would have been worse.
Yeah, no, it's well, I mean,
I see pictures like E30s rear-ended by semis. I'm like, yeah, he's probably dead. Like he lived. Wow.
Well, no, I mean, just like things where it's like you have rust. Like there's a key point of this car that's now no longer here,
Right.
Because it's been structurally marred. Once you have structural rust, it's like like you have a frame rail that's rusted through. Because like we had a technician at work that got rear-ended by a nun.
Mm-hmm.
I was just say that. Let's just sit there. He got rear-ended by a nun.
Rear-ended.
And she was wearing her habit and everything, so she looked like a nun. But the car he was driving,
really rare for a nun.
There's a nunnery like literally right
Also
across
known
the
as a
street.
convent.
Yeah, a convent. There's a convent like.
A nunnery is something completely different than
You know what I mean, though, honey. A thing full of fucking nuns. Anyway, so there's one like right down the street from where I work. So she was like just running, like getting groceries or something, and just like happened to step out for a moment and rear-ended him. But it was one of those trucks where
Tucker's truck.
No, it way worse. Like this one, this one's like gaping holes like through the entire body.
Oh.
Anyway, he got rear-ended at 20 miles an hour by a nun who was not driving like a maniac. I can promise you, because she's a nun. And her car.
Jesus had taken the wheel.
Her car. Even though she'd stepped on the brakes and hit him at, like 20, pushed all the way into the rear wheel and twisted the rear axle 45 degrees and pushed the tire up against the gas tank.
Wow.
Like, that's how bad that rust was. And things like that should not be on the road.
No, I agree.
So that's just one of those things. I think if your car is not able to be lifted onto an automotive lift, you should not be allowed to drive that.
If it's even a question.
Yeah, if it's questionable, if I see it sink at all when I put it on lift, that's not going back on the road. You're buying a new car.
Yeah, or another used car. A replacement vehicle.
You are getting a special interest financing.
Not a Dodge Journey.
You're getting a special financing vehicle.
Oops, I think I just unplugged my laptop. No, we're good. We're good. Oh man. That's it.
No, it's not. We still have that Hyundai Kona.
No, that's in the future topics thing. Nope, that's it.
All right. Well,
we don't talk about the Kona this week.
We're not going to talk about the Hyundai.
That's
Kona.
too much EV this week. And
no,
that's
we've
coming
had
from me.
so much EV. Oh my god.
I like EV stuff.
I do too. And I also like pre-war, but I haven't had an all pre-war episode.
Good. That'll never happen.
Yeah, it will.
No, it won't.
One day it will. When you're not here.
No,
it'll happen.
Ryan.
Yes,
this podcast isn't happening without me on it, unless we're doing the
it's
moderate
happened. It's
thing.
happened before.
It did once, because I gave you all the stuff to do it.
It's true.
And then I uploaded it. Although I didn't listen to it beforehand, so you could have put a bunch of weird crap in there.
Exactly. However,
you're grabbing the pre-war bell, which is terrifying me.
Yes. I want to talk about Yasuda Francini, because they make very pretty cars made prior to World War II. I just haven't mentioned pre-war in a couple weeks. I decided I should just name drop Yasuda Francini, because they make pretty cars.
And on Ryan's autistic pre-war bombshell, we will
be the end
talk
of the
to you
episode.
all on Saturday.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.